Yo, what is up, Fish TF2ers? I want to talk about class independence. This is not a concept that I think gets brought up enough in TF2 discussions. And I think it's something that most people should be familiar with intuitively just from playing the game. But I think it might be useful to actually explicate what's going on with class independence. And all this means is how effective is the class solo versus in a group. And so I've created in GIMP, which by the way can do everything Photoshop can do but better and for free, where there's sort of a sliding scale that goes from independent to synergistic. And I think as we begin establishing which classes go where, you will rapidly understand what I mean by this. So let's begin. First off, we have Demo Man. Demo Man is pretty far over to the synergistic side. Demo is not so good on his own because he is super weak in close range. He doesn't have that much health and he doesn't have any movement abilities. So the two big issues there are being very, very vulnerable to being rushed down in close range by like a Pyro or a Scout or bombed by a soldier, where any damage he can do is going to be self-damage and stickies on a timer, so they're not going to det fast enough. And, he's just intentionally, part of the design, really weak to getting rushed. And he doesn't really have a nice way to defend himself from getting pushed and rushed super aggressively, which is why he relies on his team. Secondly, Demo doesn't have the movement abilities to sort of bomb or flank or like push aggressively himself. I mean, you can sticky jump, but it takes so much health that it's normally not worth it, except in niche scenarios. There's not to say you should never bomb on Demo or anything like that. Bombing on Demo is effective and also very fun. And you can also use stickies to get out of a bad situation. So it's not like he doesn't have any movement options at all. He does have some. But they do so much self-damage and they require time to set up to place a sticky down that he's just not as mobile as a scout or a soldier or something like that, which means if he's caught out on his own, he doesn't have an easy way to retreat or to get out of that situation quickly. However, when you pair Demo Man with a team who's supporting him, especially the best combo in the game, which is Demo Man, Medic, Scout, they all cover for each other's weaknesses, and Demo becomes by far the best class in the game. Because with a Scout next to him, firstly, the Scout is really, really good at defending from close range rushes. And so that Scout is going to be able to defend the Medic and the Demo from someone rushing them down. And secondly, another problem with Demo is that he can do a lot of damage, but he's going to knock people away, people are going to run away, right? And he doesn't have the ability to chase them down, but a Scout very much does have the ability to chase them down. And so you're going to get a lot more kills where Demo is going to do a lot of damage, the enemy is going to run away, and the Scout can chase them down with a few chip shots and finish them off. And then the Medic is, of course, extremely important. Demo needs to be on the front lines outputting a lot of damage, which means he needs to be soaking up a lot of damage as well. He's going to be a massive target. If he is out there on the front, spamming stickies, he really needs to get tanked by a Medic, and so that Medic is going to be massively important in helping Demo to reach his full capabilities. If you watch any competitive TF2 gameplay, Demo is getting a lot of heals all the time. Demo generally likes to stay on beam as much as possible. And just from playing Demo, Demo is my main. The difference it makes to get a consistent overheal is just insane. Like you can do so much more just with the extra health. So Demo is definitely very much on the synergistic side, which is one of the reasons why I kind of hate playing Demo in casual, despite it being by far my most played class. Because in casual, your team doesn't fucking give a shit about you. Your Medic doesn't know about overheal existing, doesn't know about crit heals, doesn't know that Demo is like even a good class. And you just don't get that buff, you don't get those overheals, you never get Scouts protecting you. And so it can actually be really, really difficult to play Demo effectively in casual compared to a competitive situation where you're getting that beam constantly, you're getting that buff constantly, you have teammates looking out for you. Also, Demo is really susceptible to Spy, which is scary in casual. But anyway, I'm going to put him pretty far on the synergistic side. Okay, next up is Engineer. Engineer is also pretty much... well, let's see here. Engineer... this is actually a difficult one. How would I class Engineer as independent or synergistic? Like, he's a support class, right? So you would assume he's pretty far on the synergistic side. But at the same time, how much does I would say Engineer's probably about here. This might be a bit shocking that he's not as far as Demo, but the reason is that an Engineer solo can basically tank all his buildings himself, look out for spies himself. Like, he doesn't he supports his team, but he doesn't necessarily need the same level of support as he gives to his team. So I'm going to put him here. Obviously, the Engineer is a support role, so he is helping other people. So he's definitely on the synergistic side. But an independent Engineer can do a lot of damage, can hold down a point, whatever, basically by himself. Okay, next is Heavy. Heavy, I think, goes basically directly in the middle. Obviously, Heavy is gonna, just like every class in the game, benefit from buffs, benefit from teammates covering for him, of course. But actually, I think Heavy might go a little bit further on the independent side. Heavy has the health to stay alive in bad situations, and he also has lunchbox items. He has the sandwich to heal himself independent of a medic, which is very, very, heals that don't come from a medic are extremely rare in the game. So that makes him much more able to go off on his own and sit in weird fucking places and catch people off guard, pre-revved, right? Now, there is also another way of playing Heavy, which is to just have a medic up your ass the whole time and just tank every piece of damage, which is obviously a thing. But Heavy doesn't... He has the health and he has the self-healing ability to basically tank. I mean, yeah, he's a tank, right? So he's kind of a little more independent. Now, I think I've gone a little too far here. I'm going to put him like here, right? Because he definitely needs a front line to retreat back to. He definitely needs a team to distract the enemy so that he can get into a good position. And obviously, he massively benefits from dispensers and medics. Next is Medic. Medic is obviously all the way on the synergistic side. He can't really do anything himself, but he is extremely powerful, but only for buffing teammates. I think that's pretty much self-evident. Medic can't take a fight solo. Pyro goes a little bit more on the independent side. I'm going to put him like here, I think. Pyro has pretty fast movement speed and air blast, which are very, very good defensive abilities to keep himself safe in a bad situation. He's also invulnerable to afterburn. So even if a Pyro is solo on the flank and gets caught out, he can always defend himself by air blasting damage away from himself, by not really taking any damage from afterburn, and by just running the fuck away real quick. He doesn't, I don't know actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, because support Pyro does exist, right? So Pyro is always weird because he doesn't, Pyro's always been a kind of jack of all trades, master of none class where, he has this support aspect where he can like air blast projectiles away from buildings and use the home wrecker to get rid of sappers and spy check all the time and so on. But then at the same time, he has this independence where, he has movement options, like the jetpack or the detonator to close the distance on people. He can rush people down and combo them with a flare punch or extinguisher. So like, and then he has like a super aggressive options like the flog or the dragon's fury. So he kind of has it really depends on the loadout you're using. But if you're going, let's say you're going flog or dragon's fury, that's actually pretty synergistic, right? Because then you're fighting a lot more like a soldier with a banner type of situation, right? Like a waddling soldier or a demo or heavy, where you're on the front lines tanking a lot of damage, trying to output a lot of damage, and so you rely on your team. So I think I have to put Pyro some basically in the middle, because you can play a super independent Pyro, and you can also play a super synergistic Pyro. And so I think like he has to go in the middle because it just depends on your loadout. Next is Scout. Scout is way on the independent side. Obviously, just like every class, I'm going to keep saying it, Scout massively benefits from overheal. It makes it's a completely different situation fighting against a fully buffed Scout versus just a Scout with base health, right? It's completely different. But yes, I mean, what do I even need to say? Scout has the movement to just get out of any situation that's problematic. He can flank extremely effectively. He can run to health packs if he gets hurt really fast. And he has the movement to avoid a lot of damage and retreat without getting fucked. And he can basically put himself anywhere on the map that's advantageous. And he's the master of 1v1s in the game. Really, Scout's entire game plan is to try and take favorable 1v1s because he is so independent. So Scout goes way on the independent side, maybe the most independent. I'll put him like here. He's not the most independent, and the reason is because of Sniper. Sniper is the most independent. Where's my... Can I make it a little bigger? There you go. Sniper is the most independent class. Sniper just sits in the back line shooting people. He doesn't need to think about his team at all. He doesn't really help his team at all. I mean, Jurati exists, but how often do snipers actually use Jurati to help their team? Let's be real. It's almost always just to bushwhacker people who are coming at them. He doesn't really... With the Razorback, he doesn't really need defense from his team. Like, he has all of these backpacks that just delete classes out of the match. And yeah, he just doesn't need to play with his team at all. So he can just sit at the back. That's 100% independent. There's no collaborative sniper gameplay. It doesn't exist. Next is Soldier. Soldier is also pretty far on the independent side. I'm sorry for the some of these that I couldn't get high res versions of. The website was broken, so I apologize for that. Soldier is very independent. He has this ability to rocket jump, which means he can easily position himself in advantageous places and then easily get out of bad positioning. I personally think that Soldier is the second easiest class in the game if you have a good understanding of like the basic fundamentals of positioning and advantage. Because unlike every other class, like Soldier is just so mobile that he can always just put himself in an advantageous position and basically make every fight unfair in his favor. And so if you know how to rocket jump and you understand like principles of high ground and figuring out, you have game sense to know that you're not jumping into a fully revved heavy or an engineer nest or something, then Soldier is just like so OP. And so like frankly unfair in a lot of ways. Like and I'm not saying this to insult Soldier, okay? It's just that like every time I play Soldier, I feel like I just top score without even trying. It's so easy. you just bomb the medic and they can't do anything. But yeah, this is the nice thing about playing Soldier again is that it doesn't actually matter if your team sucks or if your medic sucks or whatever, if you don't have a medic, because you can always jump to a health pack. And with the 200 base health, medium health packs are giving you 100 health each. Like, they become super effective. So even if you've done a few rocket jumps, you can just go to a medium pack and immediately get all of your health back without even really much effort. And most maps have plenty of medium packs everywhere. Soldiers generally roam around the map independently and just like hog all the packs for themselves and don't necessarily need a team to back them up in the same way as some of these other classes do. However, Soldier is definitely less independent than Scout and Sniper. Soldier is going to be a pretty decent Uber target. I mean, Scout is also a pretty decent Uber target. But Soldier's a pretty decent Uber target. And he also definitely benefits from an overheal, like maybe more than anyone else, because having that buff allows you to rocket jump so much more aggressively and land with so much more health. that it's just extremely beneficial. So having a medic who's actually going to buff you really just pushes Soldier to the next level, which might make him a little more synergistic now that I think about it. But I think when it comes to the actual gameplay, just getting an overheal and then jumping away doesn't necessarily make you synergistic. You know, Soldier is mostly playing independently. Next is Spy. Okay, then it would be really nice if I could just put him here. But that's not true. So Spy is also very independent. I'm going to put him here. I'm actually going to put him here. And you might think this is a little odd, right? Spy is just going on his own, right? He's just doing his own thing. Why is he like not fully on the independent side? The reason is that for Spy to be really, really effective, he needs to go against a team that's distracted, fighting the rest of his team. And so, you have to actually depend on the other classes to be taking fights and distracting the players on the enemy team so that you can go in and get stabs when they're not expecting it. You know, if the enemy team is not doing a good job of keeping them distracted, then Spy can't really do much because they're just going to be on the lookout for him, right? If you've played Spy, you probably know this, right? Like, imagine fighting a heavy. Heavies tend to be super paranoid about Spy because they're an easy target for Spy, right? But when a heavy is actually in a fight, he needs to look straight forwards and shoot the guy and stay revved up. He just doesn't have the ability to spy check at that moment, and so that's when you go in and get the stab, right? Of course, if your team isn't doing a good job at being that distraction, if they're dying really quickly, then you're not going to have the opportunity to the opportunity is going to be much more limited to get stabs like that. Now, that being said, that is if you're playing Spy kind of like Spy, right? If you're playing Deadringer Kunai, you're much more independent because you have the self-sustain, right? You have this. Oops, what have I done? You have the self-sustain of the Kunai and the Deadringer to get out of bad situations and to keep you topped up on health. So if you're one of these trick stabby, lay epic trick stabby Deadringer Kunai guys, which actually I've been playing a lot of recently because it's really fun. I understand the Spy mains now. These guys, they just turn their back to you. You just wiggle in front of them and they just turn around and you stab them and get free health. It's like crazy. And then you're a Spy with 200 fucking health. And what are they going to do? So like a Spy, a Deadringer Kunai Spy definitely goes way more in the independent side. But that's kind of a little more rare. So I'm gonna put him like here. I'm gonna put him like kind of here-ish. Okay, so that's all of the TF2 classes ranked from independence to synergistic. I think we should like even. I don't know. Maybe I should even them out. Like maybe I should do this. I think this might be a bit fucked. Maybe these should be swapped. Yeah, maybe like that. Yeah, and I'm now, just to be clear with you, this is in casual. In competitive is a different situation, right? Because scout, you're gonna have a combo scout, who's gonna stay with the medic and stay with the demo, and obviously that guy is gonna be much more synergistic. But those guys don't fucking exist in casual. Let's be honest with ourselves. Same with Pyro. Like in comp, Pyro is playing very, very defensively, and so would probably be further to the synergistic side. But in casual, Pyro is much more aggressive, so I've tried to make like a balance with that and put him sort of in the middle. But then I tried to make everything look neat, so now he looks like he's further on the synergistic side. But hey, what can you do? Can I like make this look nice? Whatever, it's good enough. Okay, there you go.